in questa tua ricerca di un ponte ci hai consentito anche di conoscere un paese o comunque una piccola porzione di un paese da cui provengono molte persone che cercano un futuro migliore qui da noi, quindi credo che il tuo film sia importante, al di là che sia una tua ricerca personale, è importante anche per noi per capire meglio che cosa significa vivere in un paese come il Pakistan, dove abbiamo visto ci sono sparatorie improvvisamente, ci sono alluvioni, l'abbiamo visto solo in un'immagine, ma lo sappiamo che accadono questi eventi. Hai terminato la ricerca di questo ponte con questo epilogo? Termina una tua ricerca così lunga oppure no?
It's a very good question. If it's over, I think you can never. I think you can build a bridge, but I think you always need to contain the bridge as well. So I think it's an ongoing process to find a way to make the bridge not die out. And I mean, we had a tour in Poland a few days ago, and you had a really important bridge in your history as well in the city. And I think it's also a bridge that has been removed and rebuilt many times as well. And I think that's what you need to do with the bridge. You don't just build it and then it's just there. I think it's important to continue to remain the free passage, or at least have a discussion about how you can cross.
Sì, è sicuramente importante costruire i ponti, ma è importante anche sostenerli, perché comunque le situazioni cambiano ovviamente, quindi anche è importante portare avanti, diciamo, questa storia dei ponti, come il ponte che ho visto appunto a Pordenone mi ha fatto pensare a questa metafora.
Per il fatto che è stato costruito e ricostruito più volte, quindi è una continua ricerca. Anita, ti chiedo di raccontarci qual è stato il tuo rapporto con Saima, la figura di Saima che tu hai raccontato così bene, però vorrei che ci dicessi qualcosa di più di questo, di come hai fatto, ecco, anche a tenerti così distaccata in qualche modo.
I mean, Saima is extremely important in my understanding of life in Moosa Lane. I mean, we are very close by age, so we grew up together. The first time I came to Moosa Lane, I was 6 years old, and she's 3 years younger than me, so she was like 3. So, like each time we met, we kind of grew up together. So it was the first time when, I mean, obviously we lived in two really different worlds, but when she got engaged, it was the first time I felt that our lives and privileges was so clearly different. And I had to go to many internal processes in order to find out how can I accept the circumstances that she lives in, because I wanted to just take her away to Denmark and then, okay, come live with me and we're gonna live our parallel lives and we can grow up together in Denmark and then we can do things. But I mean, it's not possible in the political reality that we live in. So I had to learn very quickly that I had to sit down and learn something from her life and the whole definition of love and marriage and what was it there, because I also got very interested in getting to know her mother, for example, who also had an arranged marriage to Simon's father, obviously. So, and she was happy. So I was also like, okay, so maybe it's not only bad that Simon she will get married, but for sure it's important that it's a good husband. So I was really aware. I mean, not only me, but my family as well, and everybody around Simon was really. It was important for everybody that he was a very good man, that he would take care of her. But I had to learn what arranged marriages could also be, and not only see it as a bad thing. So it was very much a beginning for me to understand that I didn't know a lot of things about life and the culture in Pakistan. I could see that it worked for them. So I was actually the student many times, and Saima, when I was doubting some things, I could have conversations with Saima. And that's what we did. I mean, some of it is also in the film where we talk. I mean, we talked every night until the first prayer, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we had very long discussions about life and differences.
Saima è sicuramente stata fondamentale per capire la vita a Moosa Lane, anche perché abbiamo la stessa età e la prima volta che sono andata a Moosa Lane io avevo 6 anni, lei ne aveva 3, quindi siamo letteralmente cresciute insieme, anche se veniamo da mondi molto molto diversi. Quando lei si è fidanzata per la prima volta ho capito molto chiaramente che avevamo delle vite molto diverse, avevamo dei privilegi anche molto diversi, quindi ho voluto, diciamo, processare questa diversità e capire e cercare di accettare queste circostanze diverse, anche se in realtà avrei voluto dirle vieni via con me, andiamo a vivere in Danimarca insieme, anche se ovviamente non è possibile perché quella era la sua realtà. Da lei ho dovuto imparare, ho imparato tante cose, ho imparato cosa significa l'amore, cosa significa il matrimonio e mi interessava molto anche il fatto che anche sua madre aveva avuto un matrimonio combinato e ne era felice e quindi ho pensato che forse non era proprio la cosa peggiore del mondo e per tutti noi comunque la cosa più importante era che lei avesse un buon marito che si prendesse cura di lei. Quindi all'inizio ho capito che non conoscevo in realtà la vita in Pakistan, quindi io sono stata una sorta di studentessa e Saima è stata come la mia insegnante, infatti stavamo notti intere a parlare fino alla preghiera del mattino alle 6.
L'altro personaggio che tu racconti è quello di Zain e mi dicevi che non hai mai raccontato come lui è riuscito ad arrivare in Danimarca. Ce lo vuoi dire visto che c'è anche un pubblico interessato?
Well, actually, it's actually the first time that I tell you this, but actually it's because of Italy that Zane actually managed to come to Denmark because he got permission going to the study trip, and he got permission. The study trip was in Italy, so actually through the Italian embassy in Pakistan, he got permission to go to Italy, and then from Italy he came to Copenhagen to visit all of us in Denmark. So. Yeah, it's. I was looking forward to show the film here actually in Italy because it has a really important place in many people's heart in our family that he actually managed to go before he passed away.
È la prima volta che lo dico, ma in effetti Zayn è riuscito a venire in Danimarca attraverso l'Italia perché ha fatto domanda tramite l'ambasciata per un soggiorno di studio e quindi per questo che ci tenevo molto anche a mostrare il film proprio qui in Italia perché per noi, per tutta la famiglia è un paese molto importante proprio per questo motivo.
Ho un'altra domanda da farti e riguarda il rapporto con gli animali. Come hai vissuto le scene che vediamo nel film?
I guess you were talking about the slaughtering.
Sì,
yeah.
sì.
I mean, I think it's really important question actually because I think when you go to Pakistan or to Moosa Lane or any third world country, the value of life becomes so obvious, and the value of humans is something that I had to learn to deal with because I mean obviously it's our family and they are so important, but I have to also accept that we live in a global reality where people's lives have different worth, and this is something that takes a long time to accept when you're really close to people that is formally or officially doesn't have the same worth. And when I came in, it was in the beginning of the travels to Moosa Lane, I came one night with my dad, and we came by a car from the airport, and I just saw these cows in the streets, and I was like, I was very open by then, like you never really know what will happen. So I just saw these cows and okay, what now? Like why suddenly there's so many cows in the streets? And my dad said, oh yeah, but this Bakra'id, was starting the day after, and I was like, okay, so what is that about? It's like, yeah, they're gonna slaughter cows for 3 days. And I was like, okay, this sounds pretty crazy, can I film it? And he was like, yeah, no problem. So they woke me up. It was actually the 1st of January when all my friends were like crashing with hangovers because of New Year's Eve, and they woke me up and said, they're killing the first cow, and I was like, I took my camera and I started to film this cow, and I just saw that it was like killed like in front, and there was blood everywhere, and I was like, okay, this is, it was really, it's very dramatic, it's very violent to watch, to see animals like one after the other getting killed in that sense, and just the blood everywhere. So I had this experience of both relating to like what is humans worth compared to animals, but animals is very much a part of human survival as well. And I knew that from that time, but I still thought that it was really violent to experience. And then after a few days, I got this story that 1/3 of the meat was actually it was supposed to be given to the poor. And then I was like, okay, but this is what happens all the time when I'm in Moosa Lane, that I think something, and then if I stay there long enough, I find out that it actually has a function. So I thought that this function, and that's why the slaughtering scene is really important, because it kind of symbolizes, in many ways, my whole approach to the film and to Moosa Lane as a narrative, as a story. That if you stay there long enough, then, okay, it's... Even though that you're poor, you still give 1/3 of the meat to the poor as well. So in many ways that was a very important part of the film, and that's also why it's in the beginning of the film.
Sì, questo rapporto appunto con gli animali è molto importante perché in un paese come il Pakistan o anche altri paesi insomma, del terzo mondo diciamo, il valore della vita umana e in questo caso anche animale è molto diverso dal nostro ed è un qualcosa che ho dovuto imparare ad affrontare e a capire. Nelle prime volte che mi sono recato a Moosa Lane con mio padre, venendo dall'aeroporto abbiamo visto tantissime mucche per strada e ho chiesto a mio padre perché ci sono tutte queste mucche. E lui ha detto perché era appunto per una festività religiosa e io ho chiesto se potevo filmarlo e lui mi ha detto sì. E il giorno dopo era tanto bene, era il 1° gennaio, quindi mentre i miei amici danesi stavano recuperando la sbronda del Capodanno, mi hanno svegliato presto la mattina per riprendere proprio queste scene. Ovviamente erano scene molto drammatiche con sangue che scorreva, fiumi sulle strade, quindi scene molto violente, però in quel caso, in quel contesto proprio ho capito appunto il valore sia della vita umana ma anche della vita animale, che è parte comunque della vita umana. E qualche giorno dopo ho scoperto che appunto 1/3 di tutta questa carne macellata veniva data ai poveri e ho capito che appunto che tutto questo aveva una funzione, aveva uno scopo e questo mi ha in qualche modo aiutato ad avere ad avere un certo approccio sia con la vita a Moosa Lane che con la storia in generale.
And if I can just add actually to the whole ways of community and the importance of family and community is that when you don't have a system that can support you, then the community and people around you is the only way that you survive. So that's also what you learn when you go there is that, okay, if you're alone there, I mean, you will not survive. It's impossible. You always need other people, and I think that's, to me personally, also something that I was lacking, I think, in my life in the northern part of Europe especially, because I think like until COVID came and also like the whole discussion about climate changes, we never really talked about that. Of course we need each other in order to survive, and I think that's what happened with all these crises that we are in now, is that we are forced to kind of recognize that we are not that separate. We need each other in order to survive, and what happens there also affects us here. So, I mean, that is in a smaller or maybe bigger scale in the life in Moosa Lane.
Tornando al discorso appunto di comunità e di famiglia, credo che se si trova in un sistema come appunto in Pakistan che non aiuta, che non supporta le persone in qualche modo, la comunità e la famiglia sono l'unico mezzo per sopravvivere e quindi appunto c'è bisogno delle altre persone proprio per sopravvivere, perché da soli non ce la possiamo fare e questo un po' mi manca, diciamo, in Europa. E lo abbiamo visto con il Covid, lo vediamo anche con la storia del cambiamento climatico, che finalmente parliamo del fatto che abbiamo bisogno degli altri per sopravvivere in tempi di crisi e quello che accade qui ha delle conseguenze in altri paesi.
Grazie. Facciamo un applauso ad Anita Mathal Hopland.